editorial director at TTG Media, to really put a spotlight on what's new, trends, market insight, what's been going on in the Florida market. And we've got a great panel to help us do that. To introduce you to Dana Young, CEO of Visit Florida, who you just saw in the video with Maddie there. Hello, Dana.
Good morning.
Lovely to have you with us. Santiago Carrada is the CEO of Visit Tampa Bay. Thanks so much for joining us, Santiago.
Good day. I know it's afternoon or morning somewhere, so it's a good day.
Almost time for cocktails. Scott Edward, who is Senior Account Manager at Virgin Atlantic. Hello.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, thanks for joining us, panel. So we've got roughly 35 minutes together. And just so our agents know what to expect, we're going to be talking about destination news, trends, what people are booking, what people aren't booking. Also thinking quite specifically about the very exciting London Tampa launch, which Virgin Atlantic rolled out quite recently, and talking a little bit about marketing messages and the ways in which the trade can be positioning and promoting Florida for best possible effect this year and beyond. If you'd like to ask questions to our panel, please do use the function on our event platform. So if you go to the chat and Q&A section, you can type anything in there to say hello, or ask us any burning questions you've got about Tampa Bay, about Florida more widely, about Virgin's routes into Florida, and we will do our best to answer those. Wonderful. Okay, let's get going, panel. Dana, I'll come to you first, if I may. I know that Florida overtook New York quite recently in terms of being the most visited US state for international travelers. Can you tell us a little bit about what that's meant really for Florida's tourism industry? And do you think you're going to be able to maintain that top spot?
Absolutely, Pippa. So yes, in 2020, we overtook New York as the number one inbound destination for international travelers. And then in 2021, we just really dominated that space. We achieved a 44.6% inbound market share, and New York dropped down to about 22%. So it really is astonishing that we picked up that much so quickly, but now the job is to maintain that, and we believe that our efforts in the all of our international markets are going to pay off with that. But given that international inbound travel is still down a bit from 2019 numbers, what common sense would say is that once international is fully back with these market share numbers, our inbound numbers should increase dramatically, and that is great news for Florida's economy. It is already extremely robust, but obviously these numbers show a very bright future if they continue.
Yeah. And what can you tell us about the UK and Irish markets specifically into Florida? How big a proportion does our market make up, and do you foresee that growing this year as a proportion of the total?
Well, I'm happy to announce that the UK is back in their long-held number one spot as far as overseas visitation. So welcome back. There is still a little ways to go for a full recovery to pre-pandemic levels, but everything is trending in the right direction. We did see 1.1 million visitors from the UK and Ireland in 2022. Our market share actually went up by about 4%. So everything is trending in the right direction. And, I think there's just a little bit of a delay in the planning of the vacations, but we are really, really optimistic and positive about it.
Yes, that's certainly what a lot of travel agents are telling us at the moment, is that people are the booking window has shortened, which creates challenges when you're trying to make predictions, doesn't it?
Yeah. We don't make predictions, but we can just see the trends and kind of make some common sense assumptions.
Yes. Santiago, can you tell us more about the UK and Irish market into your destination?
Well, obviously it mirrors Florida. It's interesting how the numbers coincide with our numbers, right? The UK is our largest European inbound market. And as Dana said, it's been coming back and we're starting to see close to 2019 numbers. Again, not there yet, But we're doubling down in the UK. We're investing more dollars in marketing there. We've added additional representation because we knew it would come back. It was just a matter of time, with world conditions and people getting back to normal. We knew it would be back, and Dana's already said it's number one, and it's been number one for us traditionally. So we knew we needed to get back there and remind all those travelers that we're here and that we're constantly evolving in a good way, and that Florida has overtaken a lot of other states, if not all the states, in visitation, because as Dana said, we were capitalizing back in 2020, back in 2021, when other markets were still struggling. We were doing very well because we were open for business, and we were making sure that all those precautions were in place to welcome visitors back in a very safe way. So very, very excited to see. We hope that this year, beginning of 24, we'll get very, very close to our 2019 numbers as far as international visitation, especially from the UK and Ireland, because we're very close. We're within striking distance.
Wonderful. I'll come to you now, Scott. And we know Virgin Atlantic loves to fly transatlantic. Can you tell us what your route network is from the UK and Ireland to Florida in terms of the different routes that you have?
Yeah, so I mean, so currently we've got about 5 different routes coming into Florida. Some of them have been seasonal. So we've obviously got Manchester into Orlando, which is up to twice a day, depending on seasonality. Same as Heathrow, which is twice daily as well. Obviously, we've just recently launched our Heathrow to Tampa, which again is a daily service. And then we've got the seasonal summer service, which is Edinburgh to Orlando for this summer. And that operates twice a week. So whilst we kind of reduced some capacity going into Orlando, we've kind of increased some capacity, if you like, actually going into Florida as a destination overall.
And we have had a question from one of our agent guests already. Question for Scott: do you have any plans? If you announced it here, Scott, I'm sure you'd be in trouble with your PR team. But do you have any plans for direct flights to Miami or Tampa from Manchester?
To be honest, at the moment, no. I think, like all airlines, our schedules, our route plans, our network are always under review, always under scrutiny. So I wouldn't say it's definitely no, but we'll just have to see how things go, to be honest.
Yeah, we see plenty of demand coming from there. Brilliant. And what can you tell us about bookings for Florida from what you've seen at Virgin Atlantic?
I think for our perspective, Florida is a great destination for us. Bookings have been coming in incredibly strong. We had a really strong January for bookings, as I'm sure most of the trade did. And for our perspective, I think it's just really promising. I think with everything else going on in the world at the moment, rising cost of living, exchange rate, whilst it's better, it's not what we've all been used to over the last few years. So to kind of see the sheer volume of bookings coming in for Florida as a destination is really, really encouraging. So hopefully that trend continues as we go through the year and looking into 2024 as well.
Great. Yes, we really need this great start to the year to carry on, don't we?
Absolutely.
Coming back to you for a minute, Dana, it's great to hear that the market is so strong from the UK and Ireland. Are your travel partners telling you anything interesting about what it is that's being booked in terms of regions of Florida, or how long people are staying, or some of the sorts of activities and holiday styles that they might be doing?
Yes. So we've spent a lot of time with the trade and our travel agent friends, obviously in the UK, trying to educate more and more and more about the off the beaten path experiences that British and UK travelers can have in this great state of Florida. There is so much to see outside of the traditional gateways, and many of these great experiences and destinations are within a 1 or 2 hour drive. And we are seeing a lot more interest with all of our UK and Irish visitors in getting out of those traditional gateway cities and doing something new. Florida has an amazing culinary scene, which we've been really working on. highlighting over the past many months. We have, obviously 850 miles of beautiful beaches, and they're all different. So we're seeing an interest in doing some new things, and that is great because we want to give our visitors a reason to come back again and again and again.
Mm-hmm. And are you seeing that is what happens as well, that customers do come back to Florida a second, a third, a fourth time?
Absolutely. And again, we never want to have that been there, done that mentality of people that are planning a trip to Florida. We don't want people to think that just because they've had a great theme park vacation that they've seen the whole state. That would be like me saying, I've been to Dublin, so I've seen Ireland. Obviously, there's so much more. And so really the job is for us and for our partners like Santiago and with our airlines like Virgin and the work that we do to educate the consumer. They can't plan these off the beaten path trips if they don't know about them. And so we've been successful in just getting more information out there, and we're going to continue doing that.
Wonderful. Santiago, in terms of Tampa Bay specifically, are you seeing any trends? Are there any kind of holiday styles which are really coming to the fore? Are the Brits doing different things when they do visit your destination?
Yeah, absolutely. Following up on what Dana said, you don't want to be the same old stagnant, boring destination. And so, we've seen an evolution here, and we're starting to see a growing trend in luxury travel. And I think we've worked really hard at that. The launch of Virgin Atlantic with, of course, with Visit Florida, and then following that up with the Michelin Guide, which is globally recognized as the guide to fine dining. And so adding restaurants to that guide also increases that luxury travel appeal. And we've changed so much. We've opened a JW Marriott. We just opened a Marriott Edition. As you know, that's the ultra luxury product for the Marriott line. And there are only 14 in the world, and we have the 5th in the US that just opened up here. We have a Pendry under construction. We know travelers like the cruising industry. So we've got 3 major cruise lines that launch from Port Tampa Bay. So we're also partnering with Cruise Lines International Association to market, our cruise industry. So again, we evolve, right? And now we're offering a lot of luxury products with restaurants, Michelin chefs opening restaurants in Tampa. And so again, wanting to offer that different product for the UK traveler, the Irish traveler that's been through the gateway before. And now they say, well, wait a minute. Last time I was through this gateway, I didn't experience that river walk that goes into Water Street where the Marriott Edition is, or the JW Marriott, or the Pendry's coming out of the ground. So again, always given that different look and being able to offer something a little bit different than the last time someone was here.
Mm-hmm. For sure. And one of our agent guests says there is so much more than just theme parks in Florida. We did a fab road trip a few years before the pandemic. That sounds great, Debbie. Look at you. Sounds like a great trip. Oh, Jill is going to Florida 3 times this year. Wow. Good for you, Jill. Sounds like you've got a busy year ahead. You must let us know if you're going to Tampa, Jill, and if not, why not? And we have to make sure you go and see Santiago's lovely destination while you're there. Scott, coming back to you, can you tell us any more about the Tampa route specifically, how that launch into the market is gone, and what sort of interest and client demographics you're seeing?
Yeah, sure. I mean, so for us, the Tampa route has literally been incredible. It's been very well received. We're seeing really, really strong load factors throughout the year. Even in those sort of shoulder periods in the winter season, which is always a challenge to sort of get bums on seats when it's not Orlando. Orlando's always been that sort of number one, so it's trying to get people to, like the others said, venture outside of that theme park world. And I think by us kind of putting Tampa on, that really, really helps that. And I think as Santiago's mentioned, there's we've got some of the cruise companies. 3 of them going out of Tampa now, so that kind of opens up a new sort of market for us as well, and just opens up that whole Gulf Coast. And we're kind of seeing, talking to some of our trade partners, actually, it's kind of encouraging people to do perhaps a twin center, do a little bit of theme park, then head out to, to the beaches or to Tampa itself and just experience something a little bit different. Everyone knows Florida for Orlando and everyone knows it for the theme parks, but as the others said, there's so much more to do. And by offering that additional service into Tampa, it just hopefully opens people's eyes up that there is another world to Florida. As I say, it's been really, really strong. We're really pleased as an airline. We hope that kind of demand continues through the year. We've got our newest aircraft on there as well, which is the A330neo, which is just going down incredibly well. It's onwards and upwards, and hopefully it continues.
Are you seeing strong interest in premium economy and upper? Is that selling really well?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, especially on the Tampa route with the 330neo, it's it's a totally sort of reimagined upper class experience. New seating throughout the whole aircraft, and we've definitely seen sort of a more of an uptake in that premium leisure. So it is a big focus for us as an airline, from a premium leisure focus going forward. So yeah, absolutely. And I think again, with everything that's going on in the world, it's still quite nice to see people have still got some of that disposable income that perhaps they've saved up during COVID and during lockdown and kind of still want to, treat themselves. And I think it's, that sort of premium cabin's definitely a nice start.
Yeah, really ties into what Santiago was saying around the luxury aspect as well in Tampa.
Absolutely.
The dining, the high end hotels. It's becoming the full package. And are you finding customers are out to Tampa and back, or flying out one way and open door flying back from somewhere else?
Yeah, it's kind of mixed actually. I think you're always going to get the people going in and out of Orlando. Always will do. I think by having Tampa now, it does open up the Twin Center opportunity, so people aren't having to drive all the way back to Orlando, or they're not having to drive all the way down to Miami. And it also acts as a bit of an overspill to Orlando. So if Orlando is full, or if maybe the flight, the fare is a little bit too expensive because it's almost full, Tampa's there as an option as well. We don't want it to be fully utilized as an overspill. We want people to use it as a gateway to a totally new side of Florida. But yeah, it's very mixed. We're definitely seeing that open door piece.
Okay. A question from Gail, perhaps one for Santiago or any of you. How is the drive from Orlando to Tampa? How long does that take? Are there any other two center options that you'd really recommend, if not Orlando Tampa?
Yeah, it's Dana knows the answer to this one because we often travel the same way to Orlando. With no traffic or light traffic, you can actually be there in an hour or less.
Oh wow!
With no traffic. So back to what Scott was saying, it's perfect because that corridor, that Central Florida corridor, is the smallest in the state between Tampa, Orlando, out to the East Coast. So it's an easy drive. We talk about it all the time, how we can share those visitors between Orlando and the West Coast of Florida. And so it's easy. It's easy to do. I mean, it's one shot and it's very convenient. So the flights really work out for us, quite honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would add, I mean, Santiago is right. He and I are constantly going to Orlando. I go to Orlando all the time, just for a short meeting or, back and forth. And, even in heavy traffic times, it's never, I mean, unless there's an accident, of course, but, just in a normal heavy traffic time, I plan an hour and a half and I'm usually there early. It's a big road. It's an easy road to drive on for the most part. And I don't know if the participants know about the Brightline train, but that is our new luxury high-speed train that is now currently running out of Miami. They are expected to connect with the Orlando airport in the next 2 or 3 months. And then they'll be expanding to Tampa within the next 2 years or so. Once that route is complete, where Tampa, Orlando, and Miami are linked by high-speed rail, that is just a complete game changer for all of us.
got so many agents saying how much they love Florida here. Everybody telling us about their forthcoming trips. That was amazing. Oh, Lisa's just bought a house there. She loved it so much. Wow. Um, and Santiago, coming back to you in terms of the destination, is there, you mentioned some new accommodation, which was great. Is there anything else that's maybe happening as a one-off in 2023, 24 in terms of events and festivals and things like that?
Oh my gosh, all of our attractions, continue to invest. It seems like Busch Gardens opens a thrill ride every other day. They just opened last year one of the tallest hybrid coasters, reclaimed as number one coaster last year in the country. They've just opened up a new swing ride, the Serengeti Flyer. The aquarium is adding attractions. The zoo is adding attractions. On top of the Edition and the Pendry and the JW, we have Roost Tampa, which is downtown's first and only full service, fully furnished lifestyle apartment hotel, which is pretty cool. You're staying in a hotel, but it feels like you're staying at home in an apartment. So we're really, really glad to have them. And then, just the culinary offerings there, they're just popping up all over the place. As far as the Riverwalk, it continues to expand. We have a Riverwalk pass, so you can enjoy all the attractions along Tampa's Riverwalk downtown for a minimal price. We just opened the Bay Rocket, which is Tampa's newest adrenaline-filled boat jet ride, which is phenomenal. If you like getting wet, you will get wet on that. And then we're in the midst of festival season. We love this time of year to have outdoor events. So we have this Gasparilla pirate theme that starts with, a children's parade, a day parade, a night parade. All the parades have already happened. Now we're into the music, film, and art festival, a marathon, and then obviously for those of you that like strawberries, Plant City exists here in our area, and it is the strawberry capital of the country. And they have their very, very big strawberry festival. So if you like everything strawberry shortcake, strawberry shakes, strawberry pie, you can enjoy that. So, lots of great things going on. We're super excited about, all these new offerings that will come online this year. So always something very, very exciting happening here.
Wonderful. And Dana, more widely across the whole state, are there any real key sort of reasons to visit in 2023? Anything big going on in terms of events and festivals and things like that an agent can jump on and say, you should be going to Florida for this specifically this year?
Well, there is so much that I would actually direct a lot of the agents to our website to kind of look at all of our new offerings and in a very comprehensive way. I just returned last night from the South Beach Wine and Food Festival, which was absolutely incredible. That is obviously in Miami. It was fantastic. Now I don't know if I'll ever be able to not go again because I know what I've been missing all these years. But there's just so much. And back to the Virgin route, it's so amazing for Tampa and for the people that are able to come to Tampa for the first time, because it's not, immediately within a short taxi ride, you've got the really cool vibe and the culture and culinary scene of Tampa. But, a 30, 45-minute taxi or Uber ride, and you're at the, world-class beaches of St. Pete and Clearwater. And so it really has it all. And then Santiago was hinting at this. There is so much that a visitor from the UK or Ireland can see from Tampa within a 1-2 hour drive. I saw one of the participants said that they wanted to go to Crystal River and swim with manatees. Well, that is a very short, easy drive from the Tampa airport. I pass it every time I go to Tallahassee for my job. So, maybe 1 hour and you're in Crystal River doing that. An hour and a half to the east, you're in Orlando. An hour or 2 hours to the south, you've got just world-class beaches that are incredible. Anna Maria Island, Longboat Key, Naples, Marco Island, Sarasota. There's just so much within a very, very easy drive. And I know the Brits love to rent a car and go. And our road system is truly amazing. and safe and easy to navigate. So there's just so much to see. And I think I just thank Virgin for giving us this flight, because it truly does open up the ability for people to see new parts of Florida.
Yeah, significant extra capacity for you as well this year. It's really exciting. We've just got a few minutes left. Agents, if you'd like to ask us any questions, please do. I'll come back to you though, Scott. Are there any ways in which you're supporting the travel trade in shouting about the Tampa Bay route? Have you any sort of guidance for agents, any advice on how they can best go about sort of working with you to promote this route to their customers?
Yeah, so I mean, all of our agents have access to our Virgin Atlantic Partner Hub. There's lots and lots of information on there, down to sort of aircraft type, flying schedule, all of that kind of stuff. We do a lot of co-op marketing with all of the tourist boards, especially Visit Florida. We've got discussions going on with Santiago and his team on how we can, really push Tampa as a destination as well. And we also have, for the trade agents, our Sky High Club, which is our sort of always on incentive, where we encourage everyone to sign up. You earn loads of points, which can be spent on lifestyle activities, days out, holidays. And we've got sort of these once in a lifetime experiential trips, which are available for everybody as well. And I think really just trying to get that message out for Florida and for Tampa specifically, that actually there's more to Florida than just Orlando and theme parks. I think that for us, that's kind of that key message, to get people using that Tampa route as much as possible.
Yeah. Wonderful. Santiago, what do agents need to know about how they can learn more about Tampa Bay, and any sort of support or training or anything that you're offering to agent partners?
Yeah, absolutely. Visit tampabay.com. There's so much information there. And then obviously we're on all the social media platforms. So if you want to see the coolest thing that's happening right now, or the greatest thing that's happening right now, I know our team is talking about it. But again, just a phenomenal destination on Florida's Gulf Coast, the largest on the Florida Gulf Coast. And so if you use it to stay with us, fantastic, through Virgin. If you want to venture to other parts of Florida and give us a few days, you'll enjoy that as well. So it's just great to be in partnership with Virgin Atlantic, and of course our great friends at Visit Florida. We work so well together here to make great things happen for our state. And it's always, a moment of pride to be on a call like this with Dana and Scott, and your audience, obviously.
Thank you. And Dana, this whole week is about learning about Florida. We're so thrilled that you're running Florida Fest with us again. Anything you'd like to remind agents about how they can work more closely with Visit Florida, how you can support them, the sort of tools and resources that you have?
Well, absolutely. And, we've been talking a lot about, getting out and seeing parts of Florida that are less known, and we're going to continue supporting agents with that. We are supporting the TTG Top 50 Agent Program in March, so we're excited about that. And we have a very special Champions trip for winners this year, so stay tuned for that lucky winner. That'll be great. We're also, as Scott mentioned, continuing to do some promotion with Virgin Atlantic, Virgin Voyages, for the launch of their agent incentive program, and top sellers January through March. So that is underway. We're going to be inviting winners on a fam trip in Florida, staying in Miami, and then a 4-night cruise with Virgin Voyages. So who wouldn't want to win that trip? And then one other thing, a UK and Ireland regional trade mission is scheduled for May of this year, for up to 8 Visit Florida participating partners who will be visiting Cork, Dublin, Manchester, Glasgow, and with agent training and product management networking events. So we've got a lot in the works, and obviously we will be back for World Travel Market in the fall, and we look forward to seeing you all in person then.
And we've talked a lot, Dana, about looking beyond the theme parks and beyond the obvious. Is there anything else that you would advise agents to really be keeping at the back of their mind when they're selling and promoting Florida?
Yes. Well, again, getting out and seeing parts of Florida that their clients have never seen. I would just tell agents to encourage your clients to explore. Florida is a very safe destination. It's very easy to get around. Hire a car. Consider a twin sitter center or multi-center vacation. Spend time in more out of the way locations where you can really enjoy the natural beauty, which is incredible, of the great state of Florida. There's just so many places to see and so many activities and experiences to enjoy. We just hope people will just take a leap and do something new and come back again and again.
Yeah, one more thing that I forgot to mention on visitTampaBay.com's website, we have an agent online training academy, which makes you an expert on all things Visit Tampa Bay that you can share with potential visitors. So I would encourage any agent that really wants to know the destination outside of a fam trip and coming here. I think it's the next best thing to getting to know us. And of course, obviously reaching out to all of us with any questions for information. We're all on that website. We can be found, we can be emailed and reached.
And then we have Florida Travel Pro, which is the statewide version of that, where we are constantly adding new modules to train agents about all that can be done here in Florida. So lots of resources available.
Wonderful. We had one question came in from one of our agent guests. If you are traveling between Easter and the summer school holidays, is there a slightly better time to travel in terms of weather? I don't know if there's much to sort of choose between it, but in those months, May, June, July, what would you say?
Like I am a native Floridian. I love Florida all the year round. I really do. And I see somebody's talking about the Florida Keys. I vacation in the Florida Keys every year in July and August. It's a hot time, but that's what we have the beautiful Gulf of Mexico and the Atlantic Ocean for, and swimming pools. So I think that Florida is really a perfect destination year round. Somebody might talk about rainy season, but that is usually, it's like, okay, it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It's going to rain, and it might rain 30 minutes, and then the sun comes back out, and all is well. So I think those, April, May, June, July, August, fantastic times to come to Florida, and every other month, of course.
And I have to say, it's no hotter in Florida than any other part of the U.S. I can, in fact, other parts of the U.S. may be even hotter than Florida. And so there's no bad time to visit Florida. The weather today is beautiful out, and there's never a bad time to visit us.
We've talked a few times about car hire. I know that there have been some squeezes on sort of car hire capacity. What are you hearing from your contacts on the ground, Santiago or Dana? Is that going to be a struggle this year, or do you think that the car hire sort of squeeze is easing off?
Yeah, I think that was a temporary issue based on the pandemic. But since Florida opened up for business so early on, I don't hear a peep about it. I don't hear anything about it. Quite honestly, in fact, it's a non-issue for us here. And I don't think it's an issue anywhere else in the state. I've not heard anything about that.
No, it was an issue with the chips into the new vehicles. So when during the beginning of the pandemic, a lot of the rental car companies sold off their inventory, and then they needed to purchase new cars again. But because Florida got back in the game so quickly, they were purchasing those vehicles. And I rent cars in Florida all the time, and I've had no problems at all getting what I've needed.
Perfect year for self-driving there. Oh, and one of our agent guests said she's found the prices have really come down in the last few months as well. That's good to know, Jill. Thank you. Laura says she loves going the end of August and quite likes it when there's a little rain shower. It's very refreshing when there's a quick one. Fantastic. I think we've got through all of the questions. So many of them are just comments to say how much agents love Florida and about their trips have just been or they're going soon. So thanks so much, guests, for sharing with us how much you love Florida. And thank you very much to Scott, Santiago, and Dana for sharing your insights and your tips for selling the destination this year and beyond. It is time now, please, guests, to click into the 2:45 session. So if you can navigate your way to the turtle session. It will begin very shortly. Hopefully you can find the right button there to click through. And thanks again for joining us for our debate.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.